Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We know you shared some really interesting info recently about a new residential project, and today, well, we're going to dive right into the details, get a really clear picture.
That's right. We got the documents for the Zorzales del Merendón project in San Pedro Sula, Honduras. It's a residential tower developed by a 100% Honduran real estate company. They're pitching it as a high-value investment opportunity.
Okay.
So our mission today is basically to break down exactly what that means, pull out the most important details for you. You know, location, construction quality, amenities, the money side of things. And this deep dive was generated by Portal Mi Empresa.
Perfect. Okay, so to kick things off, let's talk location. The documents mention it's strategic, right? What makes it strategic from what you can tell?
Yeah, they do use that word. It's located in the southwest sector of San Pedro Sula, specifically in Colonia Trejo. What seems to stand out is the easy access to the area and, importantly, low traffic, which, you know, if you're going to live there, those are pretty big pluses, impacts your daily life directly.
Definitely. Less time stuck in the car is always good. All right, moving beyond location, what about the actual build quality? What key details did the documents reveal there?
Okay, this is where it gets pretty interesting, I think. The developers gave a quite a detailed list of the construction methods and materials.
Wow, okay.
And these details, they really tell us a lot about the expected quality and, you know, durability. For example, they mention a post-tension slab structure.
Post-tension slab. Okay, what does that mean for a resident?
Well, it's a technique often used in taller buildings. It offers some real advantages in terms of strength and reducing potential cracking compared to traditional concrete slabs.
Right.
And that's particularly relevant in an area that might have seismic activity. It suggests better structural integrity. Could mean more durability for your investment long term.
Sounds solid, literally.
Yeah.
Something to definitely factor in for that region. What other construction points caught your eye?
They mentioned using a 6-inch perimeter block. That usually points towards better thermal and acoustic insulation. Keeping the place cooler and quieter.
Exactly. Good insulation can mean, lower energy bills, a quieter home environment, plus it adds to the overall robustness of the building. And then inside, they mention acoustic drywall interior.
Okay, so doubling down on the quiet aspect.
Seems like it. Reinforces that idea of minimizing noise transfer between apartments.
That's it.
That's something people really value in condo living.
Totally agree. Peace and quiet at home is key. What about the finishes, the stuff you see and touch every day?
Well, they list porcelain flooring. That's known for being pretty durable, looks good, and it's relatively easy to keep clean over time.
Standard good choice.
And the kitchens will have melamine kitchen with quartz countertop. That combination usually offers a good balance between cost and quality, durable surfaces, look appealing. Quartz especially is resistant to stains and daily wear.
Yeah. Quartz countertops are usually a sign they're not cutting corners on the visible stuff. Any other important construction notes? Yes, actually. It's worth noting they mention using sealant and specific measures against humidity in bathrooms and laundry areas.
Smart. Preventing future damp problems.
Exactly. That kind of foresight is crucial, can save a lot of hassle and expense down the line. And maybe most importantly, they highlight that the building is earthquake resistant, edification anti-sismica.
Okay, that's a huge one.
Absolutely vital. It's a fundamental safety feature in Honduras, designed to protect residents if there's an earthquake. You can see how these details add up, right? For safety, for the longevity of the investment.
Absolutely. It sounds like they've put serious thought into both the bones of the building and the finishes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift to the layout. How many apartments are we talking about, and how's the tower structured?
So the residential tower has 20 levels in total. Levels 1 through 3 are designated for parking.
Plenty of parking then, hopefully.
It suggests ample parking, yeah. Level 4 is the social area, so common spaces for residents to use and mingle.
Always good to have communal areas. What about the apartments themselves?
Levels 5 through 18, so the main chunk of the tower, have 15 apartments per level.
Okay.
But then, interestingly, on the top 2 floors, levels 19 and 20, there are only 8 apartments per level.
Fewer units up top. What does that usually imply?
Often that suggests larger apartments, maybe penthouse-style configurations, or perhaps just different layouts offering, more space or maybe better views, potentially more exclusive options up there.
Interesting. Could mean bigger spaces, better views indeed. Now, the documents also emphasize some essential amenities available 200/7. What were the key ones you picked out?
Yeah, there are 3 that really stand out because of that round-the-clock availability. First, 247 security, that's huge for peace of mind.
Absolutely.
Then a 247 generator. This ensures you've got uninterrupted electricity, which is a massive advantage if there are power outages.
Oh, definitely. A lifesaver sometimes.
And finally, a 247 cistern, guaranteeing a constant water supply. Again, thinking about potential interruptions, having your own backup is crucial. These are really core comforts for worry-free living.
Yeah, those three cover major potential headaches. Security, power, water. Essentials is the right word.
Exactly. The documents also mention ample parking, reinforcing the convenience aspect we touched on with levels 1-3.
Right.
And as we noted, there's a designated social area. The specific details of what's in the social area weren't in these extracts, but its mention confirms there are common spaces planned for leisure and recreation.
Good. Okay, so we've covered location, build quality, layout, and the essential amenities. Let's get into the commercial and financial side. What did the sources tell us there?
All right. So they mention a general price table exists for the apartments and confirm that units are available. The reservation process seems quite straightforward, requires an initial payment of just $1,000.
Wow, okay. That's a pretty low bar to reserve a unit. What about the down payment, or the prima, as they might call it?
Yeah, the down payment. The project offers a 12-month time frame to complete the 10% down payment.
12 months. That offers some flexibility.
It does. Gives buyers some breathing room to manage those initial funds. It also states that the bank financing part is handled after you get notification of the delivery date.
So you reserve, pay the down payment over a year, and then sort out the mortgage closer to completion.
Seems to be the process, and it allows buyers to shop around and choose their preferred bank at that point.
That makes sense. Gives buyers control over their financing options. Now, didn't the documents also include some sample monthly payment scenarios?
Yes, they did. They provide examples of monthly payments based on putting 10% down and using an interest rate of 14.00%. They specify this rate comes from the bank's own funds, fondos propios de los bancos.
Okay, 14%. And what were the examples?
So for a purchase price of, say, $157,900, the estimated monthly payment would be about $7,767 on a 20-year term or around $1,684 on a 30-year term. Gives you a rough idea.
Got it. Those are concrete numbers people can start thinking about. Was there another price point example?
Yes, for a slightly higher purchase price of $164,900. The estimated monthly payments are about $1,846 for 20 years and roughly $11,758 for 30 years.
Okay.
But it's really important to remember these are just examples, based on that specific interest rate and down payment. Actual rates and terms could vary a lot depending on the buyer's financial situation and the bank they choose.
Right, absolutely. Useful starting points, but people definitely need to do their own homework with banks. Finally, for anyone listening who wants to find out more, how can they get in touch?
The contact phone number provided in the documents is 9970-6554.
Oh, at 9970-6554.
So let's wrap this up. Based on the info you shared, Zorzales del Merendón seems like a project in a, strategically chosen spot in San Pedro Sula. There's a clear focus on construction quality. Those essential 247 amenities are a big plus, and there are flexible options for the initial down payment.
That sums it up pretty well. The payment scenarios give a first glimpse into potential monthly costs, too.
And, this brings up an interesting question for anyone listening and considering this type of investment. Given these details on construction, the amenities, the financial examples, what aspects would you prioritize when you're evaluating a place like this? What other questions would come to mind for you based on this info?
Excellent points to think about. And remember, this deep dive was generated by Portal Me Impreza, aiming to give you a clear, concise understanding based on the documents provided. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.